Before we get started, let's make a deal. If you've heard all these secrets before, go ahead and dislike the video. But if even one of these secrets is new to you, make sure to give the video a like. Number 10. Who chained the immortal Garm? As you may know, Garm is an immortal creature, and even in the game, Kratos couldn't kill him. In the end, his spirit's existence was altered. So if Garm is such a powerful and immortal being, who could have chained him in the land of the dead? Centuries ago, Garm was just a small puppy, but he soon started consuming parts of Midgard, including a few mountain ranges. However, even more dangerously, he began chewing through the fabric of the realms. Looking at his actions, it became clear that Garm needed to be bound because of the trouble he was causing. He was so strong that no chain could withstand his power. Odin requested the dwarves to create a powerful chain that Garm couldn't break. Instead of using iron or steel, they used silk threads and infused them with 6 strange magical elements. Garm, the giant and powerful wolf, was restless and uncontrollable, and only the gods could keep him in check, but only if one of them placed their hand in his powerful jaws. At that moment, Tyr, the god of courage and war, bravely stepped forward. He placed his hand confidently in Garm's mouth to earn the wolf's trust. While the other gods took advantage of the situation and bound him with the magical chains, Garm became enraged and bit down on Tyr's hand. Tyr heroically sacrificed his hand to ensure the safety of others, and Garm was captured. But my question was, why does Tyr have both of his hands intact in the game? I came across this dialogue.
So, Mimir, how did they capture Garm in the first place?
That was Tyr's doing. He lured the beast somewhere safe and kept it distracted by lending his own arm to be gently chewed. Once the chains were on and the gate to Helheim was opened, Garm bit Tyr's arm clean off in retribution.
But Tyr's not missing an arm.
Well, it grew back, eventually. He is a very resourceful god, after all.
That dialogue suggests gods have the ability to heal and regenerate their limbs, which could explain how Tyr regained his hand. Number 9. Do the people of Asgard blame Atreus for Heimdall's death? After Heimdall's death, a heavy and unsettling silence takes over the land of Asgard. The people are consumed by fear and confusion, unsure of what has happened or who is responsible for the loss of such a powerful figure.
Heimdall's dead. Happen to know something about that? Anything?
Since they have no information about the true identity of the killer, many begin to point fingers at Atreus. Before his arrival in Asgard, everything seemed to be in a relatively peaceful state, with no major disturbances. The sudden chaos and death of Heimdall leave them searching for someone to blame, and Atreus becomes the unfortunate scapegoat. If you walk through Asgard during this tense period, you can witness the people's reactions. As soon as they see you approaching, they abruptly stop their conversations and refuse to continue speaking. They seem unwilling to say anything in front of you, likely out of fear or mistrust.
Got it.
Ragnarok and
Hush. Shh. Save you the trouble.
Ash. There he is.
Quiet.
This shift in behavior shows how deeply the blame has been placed on him, despite the fact that he had nothing to do with Heimdall's death. Number 8. Why is Thor's wound not healing? If you pay close attention to the wound that Kratos inflicts on Thor during their first battle, you'll notice that over time it doesn't heal or improve. The reason behind this is explained in the 2018 game. When Kratos throws his axe toward Jormungandr, the game specifically mentions that the axe is coated with the serpent's poison. According to Norse mythology, Thor is highly sensitive to Jormungandr's poison, which causes severe reactions. So when Kratos strikes Thor with the axe covered in this poison, the wound cannot heal. An interesting detail is that, if you listen closely to the conversations of the people in Asgard, you can hear them discussing Thor's injury.
For what?
He'd somehow gotten it into his head that someone was trying to poison Thor.
roundabout way to commit suicide that would be. Poison Thor. Why not try to destroy a mountain using a soup spoon?
Another fascinating detail from the first battle is when Thor, at the end of the fight, pulls out one of his teeth and throws it to the side. This tooth is actually visible in the battle area, and it can be found, showing the developers' attention to detail and their effort to make the game feel more immersive and realistic. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. I'm preparing another video about the secrets of this game, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Number 7. Is there any clue to spot sooner that Odin is playing the role of Tyr? If you've completed the game, you're probably aware that Odin is pretending to be Tyr, and the real Tyr is nowhere to be found. The true Tyr can actually be found in a cell in the Niflheim realm after finishing the game. However, the developers left several clues that, if we paid attention, could have helped us realize that Odin was deceiving us all along. The first clue is Tyr's absence from the wars. As many of you know, Tyr is known as the god of war, and is famous for his great strength in battle. Yet in the game, we hear a series of illogical dialogues and stories where Tyr refuses to participate in any battles, which doesn't make sense considering his role as a warrior. The second clue comes from Tyr's reaction to predictions and Odin's death. Throughout the game, we see Tyr give fake responses, clearly showing that he doesn't want to face the truth or accept what is happening.
And Odin dies.
She lied. Roa lied. Of course she did. Odin's working off a false prophecy.
The third clue lies in the differences in Tyr's name, which was intentionally altered by the developers to give us a subtle hint that something was off. Finally, the fourth clue is a big giveaway. The only character who calls Freya Frigg is Odin.
Can't be in two places at once, Frigg.
In the game, we repeatedly see the fake Tyr calling Freya by this name, which is something only Odin would do.
Never thought I'd have the pleasure of seeing you again, Frigg.
Don't call me that. I haven't been that person in a long time. But I'm happy to see you too.
Number 6. Why did the world's serpent suddenly disappear in the Ragnarok battle? In the final battle of Ragnarok, we witness an intense fight between Thor and the world's serpent. They are locked in a fierce struggle when suddenly, the world's serpent disappears. This sudden disappearance is explained by Norse mythology, which states that during Thor's battle with the world's serpent, Thor delivers such a powerful blow that it sends the enormous serpent back in time. This is the reason for the world serpent vanishing in the Ragnarok battle. Essentially, the world serpent we see in the 2018 version of the game is a creature that has come from the future. If we carefully observe its appearance, we can notice that it is much older and more worn out compared to its younger version in Ragnarok. This suggests that the serpent has been in this timeline for a long time, further emphasizing the connection between the past and future in this epic battle. Number 5. Easter eggs and references. All of the Kvasir poems you collect in the game can be found in Sindri's house, and interestingly, each one references a different PlayStation game. The Sunrise of Nothingness refers to Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. Large Society Ground Orb, the performance, refers to MLB The Show. We Who Remain, Part the Second, refers to the Last of Us series. Tool and Bang refers to Ratchet and Clank. Afterlife Abandonment refers to Death Stranding. Visions After Rest refers to Dreams. Spirits Within Walls refers to Concrete Genie. Celestial Construct refers to Astro's Playroom. Upon Pursuing a Place Not Marked on Maps refers to Uncharted series. Trip refers to Journey. Eastern Spectre refers to Ghost of Tsushima. An Organization in the Future refers to The Order 1886. Sanguinity refers to Bloodborne. Finally, The Dead Do Not Ride refers to Days Gone. These Kvasir poems are not the only Easter eggs hidden in the game. One of the more interesting and subtle nods from the developers is the appearance of Bear McCreary, the composer behind the game's iconic soundtrack, as an NPC, non-playable character. This inclusion adds a personal and creative touch to the game, showcasing the developers' appreciation for the team behind the music and further immersing players in the world of God of War Ragnarok. It's a clever way to honor Bear McCreary's contribution to the game while also adding an extra layer of depth to the in-game world. Number 4. Why are the effects of Fimbulwinter not seen across all realms? In God of War Ragnarok, Fimbulwinter, the harsh winter that signals the coming of Ragnarok, affects all the realms in unique ways. While in Midgard the signs are clear with heavy snow and blizzards, each realm experiences the winter's impact differently. For example, Svartalfheim is shaken by random and intense earthquakes, and the air is filled with a humid, almost oppressive scent.
Ugh. Well, you could always blacken your lungs in Svartalfheim.
In Vanaheim, the jungle becomes drenched in extreme humidity, while in Alfheim, violent flashes of light disrupt the serene Lake of Souls. Meanwhile, Helheim grows colder and darker, intensifying the already grim atmosphere of the realm. Yet, despite the widespread effects, Asgard remains untouched. This immunity from the full force of Fimbulwinter is most likely due to Odin's immense power and control over Asgard. He deliberately shields it, keeping the realm protected from the changes that affect the other worlds. Asgard's immunity highlights its unique position and the gods' influence in preserving it from these destructive forces, at least until the eventual arrival of Ragnarok, which will mark the end of Asgard's protection. Throughout the game, characters like Mimir discuss Odin's magical control over Asgard, suggesting that he has intentionally kept the realm safe from Fimbulwinter's ravages. This act of protection further underscores Odin's desire to keep Asgard a haven for the gods, separate from the suffering and chaos spreading throughout the other realms.
Aren't we all? Still. Nowhere better than Asgard. Surely.
Oh, unquestionably.
In conclusion, Fimbulwinter has impacted every realm, but in different ways, causing each one to be thrown off balance in its own way. Whether through natural disasters, environmental shifts, or the disruption of their natural cycles, the realms are all in turmoil, with only Asgard remaining untouched, at least for now. Number 3. Why was Odin sensitive to the Noose and feel a choking curse? A long time ago, Odin, the Allfather, wanted to know all the secrets of the world and gain knowledge that no one else had. To do this, he made a huge sacrifice. He decided to hang from a magical tree called Yggdrasil for 9 days and nights. During this time, he couldn't eat or drink, and he endured a lot of pain, all for the sake of gaining wisdom. After those 9 days, he learned many powerful songs, magic spells, and even gained the ability to talk to the dead, things no one else could do. But this power didn't come without a price. The rope that held him up on the tree became a constant reminder of the pain he went through. It wasn't just something that helped him gain power. It also became a weakness. The memory of how much pain and fear he felt during those 9 days stayed with him, and sometimes it made him feel helpless again. Later, Freya, who knew about Odin's secret, took the rope from the tree. She understood how much power it had, and she knew that one day she could use it against him.
The one Odin hanged himself with, as part of his endless mad quest for secrets of life and death and what have you.
What are you doing?
It's a charged object, significant to Odin. Perhaps I'll find a use for it.
When the final battle came, Freya used the rope against Odin, taking advantage of his hidden weakness. Even though it only lasted for a short time, it showed that even the most powerful gods have their vulnerabilities, and Freya used that to her advantage.
Not quite yet.
Think you're the only one who can craft a binding spell? I spent many long winters thinking about what I would say to you
as I watched you take your last breath.
What caused Kratos to lose his weapon upgrades and Greek powers? When we start the game, we notice that Kratos' weapons have been severely weakened, and he has lost all his powers and upgrades. The developers cleverly dropped some interesting clues within the game's dialogue that explain the reason behind the loss of his weapon upgrades.
Things collapsing on a regular basis in these parts.
Fimbulwinter wears down all things, even stone.
Isn't it nice how Fimbulwinter wore down all the helpful magic we acquired? Yet somehow new terrors only flourish.
Looks like Fimbulwinter's been hard on our girl. Give her here. She's overdue for some Brock love.
In addition to his weapons, Kratos also mentions in another part of the game why he no longer has any of his Greek powers and how all of them have disappeared.
I've been meaning to ask, your homeland. I'd heard the gods there wielded every flavor of power you could imagine. Lightning, fire, the whole lot.
As did I, for many years.
Oh, any chance you could recall some of that magic?
No, I have tried.
Magic is bound to the earth. When your homeland died, your powers probably went with it.
Well, probably for the best. Let the past stay in the past and all that.
These subtle hints in the dialogue help to explain the drastic changes to Kratos' abilities. In my opinion, paying attention to the dialogue in the game can clear up many of the questions players may have and lead them to a deeper understanding of the story. Number 1. What is the mystery behind the frozen lightning in Vanaheim? During our first battle with Thor, we witnessed the creation of a frozen lightning, a result of the intense clash between our weapons. However, this is not the only frozen lightning in the realms. In a hidden area of Vanaheim, there's another frozen lightning, and Thor even mentions it during our fight.
This feels familiar. What? Don't matter.
When we explore this area, we discover that the second frozen lightning was created during a fierce battle between Faye and Thor. But what led to such a powerful confrontation between them? Thor and Faye were siblings. You heard that right. While the game doesn't explicitly mention this, they do share notable similarities in their appearance, hair color, and certain behaviors. Thor's mother, Fjorgyn, was a Jotun giant who married Odin. Despite this, Thor carried a deep hatred for the Jotun, fueled by Odin's orders to fight and eliminate them. Fjorgyn, seeing the emotional toll these actions took on Thor, tried to reason with him many times, hoping he would stop following Odin's cruel commands. One day, during a heated argument, Thor, under the influence of anger and too much mead, unintentionally harmed his mother. This tragic mistake left Thor emotionally broken and created further distance between him and others.
We love you. You know that.
When Faye learned of what had happened, she was deeply angered. As someone who valued the Jotun and their legacy, she decided to confront Thor, marking the start of their conflict. Thor and Odin played a major role in the destruction of the Jotun, nearly wiping them out completely. Faye, being one of the last remaining giants, couldn't stand by and let this continue. She took it upon herself to fight against Odin and Thor, standing as a protector of her people's legacy. Interestingly, Odin was against Thor's fights with Faye, but not because he cared about peace. Odin had his own secret plan. He needed Faye alive. As one of the last Jotun, Faye held the knowledge of how to access Jotunheim, the land of the giants. Odin, always seeking power and control, wanted this knowledge for himself, which is why he didn't want Thor to harm Faye. Sadly, by the time Baldur came searching for Faye in the events of the first game, she had already passed away.
Oh, there. Do I see my father?
We put a lot of effort into creating this video. If you found the secrets intriguing and enjoyable, please show your support by liking and commenting. It helps more people discover this content. There's a second part to this video, which will be uploaded to the channel soon. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it.
Whither do they call to me? Whither do they call to me?